Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com. Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
So he threw a lot of black arts thing inside of the video, which to us was a little bit too Tim Burton-ish, but still in yet, we are black vampires.
This is the plaintiff, Forrest. He says he hired the defendant to make a music video for him and his band. The defendant, however, was under the misconception that the video was a collaboration between the two of them. The guy put things in the video he didn't approve of. He wouldn't make changes, and he's here suing for every penny of the $700 he paid for the worthless music video. This is the defendant, Rami. He says he and the plaintiff have collaborated on a few projects in the past, and the video in question today was no different. In fact, they were both invested in it artistically and financially. He thinks the video came out great, thinks the judge will agree, and thinks he will not have to refund any money because he was technically never even hired. He's accused of taking control.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Forrest.
Yes.
You are suing Rami for $700 because you want a refund for an amount that you paid him for a video, and you're saying he breached the contract. Tell me what happened.
First of all, I would like to say that I got in touch with Mr. Rami 2015, like in November.
How'd you hear about him?
I knew him from previous. We did work in 2010. We
did work together in 2010?
Yes.
What kind of work was it?
It was a short video we did for a book that I had written.
Okay.
I got written, and we did a short video for that based upon the character that I play. And we're in a band called Black Vampires, and it's kind of like a soulful alternative gothic band. It's kind of like a soulful version of Marilyn Manson.
Okay.
So what
he's not in it with you.
He's not in it.
No. Okay.
Right.
All right.
But he liked what we did, and so he's seen us play a couple of times, and we did a video together.
Okay, and that went well.
That was for in 2010.
Okay.
So that went well. We did it in Douglaston. But this thing right here, what happened was I had an idea that because it's good to put out music in this either in the spring or in the fall, and what I wanted to do was come out with a CD, which we did, and come out with a video, which he was supposed to provide us with at a certain time, which was May 5th, right? We were supposed to have a video. So
Is that this year or last year? This
year, right? Because when I found him, because Rami, he was gone, he was different places, different parts of the country or whatever. So when we got together, he said, well, let's link up after the new year. So when the new year came in and we linked up, that's when I told him about the idea that I had to release a video and to release a CD at the same time.
All right, so you hire him to do that, and the agreement is that you're going to pay him how much?
Right, $1,000.
All right, and but do you have an agreement in writing with each other?
No, it was
All
verbal,
right, according
but we have a lot of writing.
What if anything, did you tell him you wanted in that video?
We wanted a video that, we have a single called Eric Garner about the guy who got chokehold in Staten Island.
Yes.
And we wanted a video, but this video couldn't have been, we didn't want it to be normal. We wanted it to be maybe like Tim Burton did it, a little dark, but it couldn't be normal. It couldn't be like the typical We Shall Overcome or, you know, street riots. It had to be something different. And what happened was, I said, well,
did you tell him what? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I told Rami that. But I also had an idea that when I brought to him, which was the way the chess pieces move on the chessboard and the way the planets moved. And I wanted to do something with that ideology. But I also told him, I said, Rami, listen, because every artist that works with me, the female who took the cover, right, the photograph for this cover, or the author who helped me put this book together, or the engineer who helped me put the music together, the producer, I got letters from all of them. I gave them the same idea, the same thing that I told Rami. Which is all of these people, they helped us put this together. They had a certain budget. We paid the budget. They worked for us. They worked for Black Vampires. None of them said that, oh, I took this picture, but it's mine. I did this book, but it's mine. It's all Black Vampires. What Rami is trying to say to me is that the video that he did was his video.
Okay, well, you're getting ahead of yourself.
Video.
So you agree to pay him $1,000, and according to you,
we paid him $700 down payment.
You paid him $700, and then you're going to pay him another $300 later.
Right.
Okay, and according to you, the deal is that you have to approve it, that it has to be to your satisfaction.
Absolutely.
All right. He made a video.
Right.
And tell me about the video that he made.
Beautiful. The video that he made, when we looked at the video, we all sat back and we looked at it and we was like, okay, it's a good video. We liked it. But in the video, 2.5 weeks prior to that, I asked him, I said, I wanted him to put this reference of Charlie Hebdo in the video. Just reference.
Okay, and you were referring to?
He said that he would.
You are referring to what event in France? Go ahead.
Right. The event in France where the guy wrote the cartoon character Muhammad, where the people came in and murdered the people.
And 12 people were murdered in the newspaper.
I wanted him to actually put that inside of the video subliminally and pull it back out. That's all you have to do. I just wanted it to come on the screen and go out of the screen. Just that simple.
Okay.
In editing, right? And what happened was, he said he would do it, no problem. When he showed us the video, and we looked at it, everybody's like, okay, it's good. 99% of the video, 99.9% of the video, is all Rami. The only thing that's in the video is
What do you mean by all Rami?
It was all his idea. He took his own ideas and put it in the video. He put a lot of voodoo in there, a lot of Shango, because he's into that. He's a lot of into like a lot of black art. So he threw a lot of black arts thing inside of the video, which to us was a little bit too Tim Burton-ish, but still and yet, we are Black Vampires. So the point is, I understood the darkness of it. But what happened after we looked at it and all, we was like, well, play it again. And when you played it again, I didn't see the Charlie Hebdo reference. So I asked him, I said, what happened 2.5 weeks ago? I told you to put the Charlie Hebdo reference in there. He said, I didn't think it should be in there. And I said, this is our video. We don't care what you think. We hired you to do this for us.
Okay.
We are the clients.
Right.
He said, no, we're collaborators. We're not collaborators. Nobody that works with us was collaborator. Everybody's working to do one thing. I have a letter from everybody. So is this all
about that sign not being in the video?
Absolutely. Because...
Let me hear from you. What's going on?
Forrest came to me in around January. We had worked together before on, projects. He is in a band called Black Vampires. We befriended each other, and I supported him in his creative efforts to manifest that band. I recorded some of their live performances, and we did a short film together, which was successful. We were both very happy with that and our collaboration and our friendship that ensued. So he comes to me in January talking about this video idea, and so we exchanged ideas. And, he respected what I did in the past as an artist. And so it was never like a one-way street, like where, okay, you got to do this or we got to do that. We exchanged ideas. And so in the spirit of creative collaboration, we were exchanging these ideas and we were pretty much on the same page, except for this Charlie Hebdo reference, which was so out of context to what the song and the narrative of the video is about. So I was like, it doesn't make any sense to put it in there. If anything, it's like it would be an insult to put in there, it'd be to your detriment to put it in there. So that was my wisdom of advice to him, to not put that in there. So we fought over it. But first, let me back up. We never had a contract. We never had any terms of agreement or anything like that stating that he hired me or that he was my client. If he was my client, I mean, he would have had to like pay me a lot more money. If anything, this was like a favor. He contributed money to the production expenses, and I contributed more money than he contributed. So this was a collaborative effort for both of us, for him to promote his band and for me to expand my video portfolio. So this was a creative effort on both of our parts. So I have a long list of receipts of expenses that came out of my pocket, and, you know, email correspondences with him to, you know, rectify the situation in good spirit, because I knew that he wanted this in here. I was like, well, if you really want this in here, then you're going to have to pay me a minimum $10,000. That's what I would charge for him to hire me.
Let's take a few steps back here.
Yeah.
All right. Charlie Hebdo is a French satirical weekly magazine. And some months prior to this video, they had published some satirical cartoons that involved Muhammad, and terrorists went in and shot up and killed the editor and much of the staff. There were 12 people killed. You feel that it is in poor taste for him to want to include in this video a sign that says, "Je suis Charlie." Now, that phrase is what the French all over France and many other countries were doing to show solidarity with free speech. You understand that, right?
Yes.
In other words, it is not condoning terrorism. It is not condoning ridiculing religion. It is not. The "Je suis Charlie" was the battle cry of people saying this is wrong, because Charlie is the name of that weekly newspaper. Okay? So what about it did you, I'm not criticizing your judgment that it's in poor taste. I'm trying to understand what you felt that sign would say that caused you to be so principled about it that we're here. Help me to understand.
So that's that incident, and that is a very complex subject matter to deal with. To give it 1 second, I think, is not enough. That's the main reason why. We're dealing with the subject matter here in this video with Eric Garner, with the subject matter like that's happening in Ferguson, Baltimore, all over America, of police brutality against black people. That's a big subject matter too. So if we're going to talk about that, putting Charlie Hebdo in there and not referencing it, it's not even referenced in the song, doesn't make any sense creatively. So you and I know that it's a cry for free speech, but you know, we have to support the imagery that we put into the video with more context. It was way out of context to what the video was.
Just out of curiosity, because you're both very creative, intelligent people, I want to hear what your response is to what he just said.
Judge, I swear, this whole thing, this whole case is so simple.
No, I don't need you. I don't want you to argue your case.
Right.
I'm perfectly capable of ruling on the contracts end of this. What I want you to do is exactly what I asked, which was, what say you to what he just said, just from a creative standpoint?
A creative standpoint is this. Okay, I'm the client. That's what I wanted.
I know the law.
Right.
Just creatively, why do you disagree?
Creatively, if I wanted the person that was standing in front of the tank in Tiananmen Square, put it in there, because that's what I asked for.
Yeah, that is what your
This is what I asked for.
Your answer is, don't tell me creatively what to do. Okay, I've got it. When he asked you and insisted on putting it in, what did you say to him? The sign that says, "I am Charlie," what did you say to him? You said, "No, I don't think it's relevant." Okay, and then when he says yes, you say no. Now we have an impasse.
Exactly.
So what did you suggest to him? Either you pay me $10,000 or no.
Right, because if he hired me, he would have had to pay me $10,000 off the bat. I would put anything he wants in there. And I made that very clear in the email.
Can you prove that what you just said is true, that you charge $10,000 to do a couple minute video, that other people have paid you that?
Oh, yeah. Wedding videos. And
$10,000 for?
Oh, yeah. Wedding videos, medical conferences.
See, here's the thing, because you don't even have a contract with him. Typically, if I hire you to do a video, and you show me the first draft and I don't like it, and I tell you, can you just do one thing for me? Will you just put this sign in? I'd expect you to put the sign in. And if in fact it's different because it's a collaboration between you guys, and it's your artistic endeavor and his artistic endeavor, and you're supposed to have equal say, I'd expect a contract that says you're supposed to have equal say. This thing doesn't get distributed unless both of us agree that we're both happy with it, because it is unusual for the videographer to tell the client, I refuse to put that in there. I mean, I respect anybody who stands for something nowadays, but from just a pure contracts standpoint, if the client says,
But he's not my client.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, if a creative guy is hired to do a music video, can he say, my word is the final word in terms of what it looks like, or does the person who hires him have the final word?
I think the person who hires him has the final word, just because it's his music video in the end, and since he was the one who originally had the music video, then yeah.
You buying that?
I agree. I think if you're paying someone to do a service to you, you do have the final say.
Yeah, but you're hiring a creative guy.
Yeah, but then again, it's like he's funding the project, so he has like
the final say.
Yeah,
he's like Donald Trump, right?
Exactly.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
He is your client. He is, because I'm going to need you to prove otherwise if you were doing this for you. I would have to see that there was no money transaction going from there to there. I would have to see that there is a contract that says, I know that in most cases when somebody pays you to do a video, they have to approve the video, but in this case it's different. Because I would have to see that in writing. You don't have that. I have him saying, look, I just hired him. I hired him because he's got taste. It's not that he didn't want your artistry to go in there, but I get to call the final shots. That's how it normally is in a contract. So if it's going to be something different, then, and I realize you're not, some guy with a camera. I understand that. I get what you're saying, but I just don't think that you get the final veto. And all the guy wants is the money he paid you back, because you've reached the impasse where you guys can't agree. And I don't think that's an unreasonable result. So if you wish to have the artistic license to say, I will not release this unless it looks the way because I won't put something in there I don't believe in, that's fine. But that's gonna cost somebody. And why should it be him? It already cost him not being able to release the video at the same time as the CD. He's not asking, for whatever he's gonna have to pay somebody else to do this. All he's asking is, look, clearly we're not having a meeting of the minds, because he thinks he gets to call the shots, and I say I do because I'm the client.
Yeah,
so you do not get to touch that. That's not.
No,
everybody's got it.
We don't want
all
that.
Right. All right. So I'm ruling in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $700. That's my judgment.
So the defendant comes out here, the money's gone back over to the plaintiff. What's your reaction to the ruling here?
Well, very disappointed, because there's a lot more evidence that wasn't showed that says that him actually saying that I'm the director and he's just in it. He gave me creative control over the video, so.
What are you going to do with the video?
Well, I feel like this project is bigger than both of us, and this is a strange predicament to even be in. Yep.
All right, around the corner this way. All right, so come on out here. The lead singer of the Black Vampires.
I am.
All right, step right in next to me here. Satisfied how the verdict comes down here?
Extremely satisfied, extremely, because all I asked him to do was just put in something subliminal and take it out, and he didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
If you'd have did that, we wouldn't have been here.
Just artistic differences here?
Yes and no. It was just. He was just stubborn with something very simple.
All right, okay.
Thank you very much.
Harvey?
I mean, look, the key here is if the relationship isn't the way it appears on its face, which is employer-employee, you better put that in the contract. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Whether it's routine maintenance, an emergency repair, or a dream project, Angie lets you compare quotes from multiple local pros, browse homeowner reviews, and even book a service instantly. Angie's been connecting people with skilled pros for nearly 30 years. So the next time you have a home project, bring it to Angie to get your job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
This episode is brought to you by Essentia. A better you starts with better hydration. Essentia is on a mission to inspire people to do what matters most. Their proprietary ionization process transforms water from any source into ionized alkaline water, providing water that's 99.9% pure with a pH of 9.5 or higher. Essentia overachieving H2O, the #1 ionized alkaline water. Shop now.
This is the plaintiff, Tina Kearney. She says she hired the defendant to repaint her car, which he did, and everything looked pretty good when he was done. A few days later, however, she went to get gas, and she couldn't get the gas tank cover open. The defendant did something by putting pressure on it, busted it, and now won't give her the money to get it fixed. Some people. She's suing for $323, the cost to fix her car. This is the defendant, Craig Ward. He says he worked on the plaintiff's car, and then she brought it back to him 2 weeks later and handed him a bill. She said he must be the one who damaged her gas tank and wanted payment. Whoa, wait a second, lady. He damaged nothing. Doesn't appreciate being blamed for something he didn't do, and thinks it got damaged in the 2 weeks she had it, and he doesn't know a thing. He's accused of gassing up a customer.
All right, all parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff hired the defendant to repair a car and says that he wrecked the gas cap cover. But the defendant says she came back weeks later to complain. It's the case of a bad case of gas.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Tina Kearney?
Yes.
You are suing the defendant, Craig Ward's company. You've asked us not to mention your business name, and we'll respect that, for $323, the cost that you had to pay for a damaged gas tank that you say was his fault.
Yes.
Tell me what happened.
I purchased a Groupon for $99 to have my car painted. I had a little mark about this, a scratch. He has a paintless scratch job that they do, so it said it can take away a scratch or anything, so I purchased that for $99. When I called the defendant to come to my place of work, he showed up, and before he even knew how much the Groupon was, he already decided to charge me $50.
Wait, did he know about the Groupon?
I think I told him over the phone, but when he showed up, he's trying to charge me $50.
No, he's not trying to charge you. He's only charging you, which is a good thing, unless you're the person who already paid $99 for a Groupon.
Right.
But anyway.
So I walk him over to my car. I show him my bumper, the scratch that I have a picture of. It's very small. He walked around the car and he said, well, you have scratches here, you have scratches there, you have scratches. It's $99. We do the whole car. Okay. I go back into my job.
Did you have scratches here and there?
Yeah, little. But
they just weren't bothering you?
Right, it wasn't bothering me. Just the black one was bothering me because my car is white.
Okay.
Every time I came out, I saw it. So I go back into my job. So being that I'm a Groupon fan, I was periodically coming out just snapping pictures of him. In case he did a good job, I refer him to one of my friends or coworkers. Very nice guy. He was.
Explain what Groupon is.
Groupon is a website that I'm addicted to. That
clearly.
Yes, I have like 39 pages of Groupon, so I know Groupon very well. You purchase something.
Groupon is a discount site where if you can buy, it works for the vendor because the vendor gets to bring in new clientele, and so you were taking pictures to do what? To post on Groupon and to recommend him?
No, I just take. I love pictures.
You feel like
I'm just out there taking pictures because, like I said, I have coworkers, friends.
Great. And then what happens? What goes wrong?
So I go back in the job. This is on I think a Monday. He told me he didn't have the metallic color white paint for my hood because he wanted to do the hood too. So he leaves. The next Monday, I have 2 jobs. I drive only back and this particular week I only drove back and forth to work. So I knew I got gas that Monday. I pressed the release button and the thing doesn't release. I never have to get out and manually open it.
You press the release button while you're driving, or you're at the gas station?
The gas station. I'm
sorry. So you press the release button,
right?
And
the gas attendant tells me I can't get your gas tank open.
Okay, go on.
I get in the car. I go back home. Now I'm thinking, what happened to my car? So did I call Infinity? Well, this is my. I asked him to look at it, but he didn't.
He didn't finish. He's your what? What is he?
He's a family member, but he also works on cars. So I was going to have him look at it, but being that it's an Infiniti and he's, I'm like, let me just deal with the dealership.
And then they charge you $300 and something.
No. Why I'm at the dealership?
You gotta wrap this up.
Right, I know. I'm at the dealership. I thought it was a long, stupid story, but I'm saying I'm at the dealership.
All right, you said it, not me.
No, well, I'm at the dealership. I'm looking through my phone because now I'm thinking is the Wawa, the gas. I get gas the week before, so now I'm on the phone with Wawa's. Why I'm at the Infiniti?
And you're accusing them of having
right. I'm like,
them.
do y'all have cameras? Because I got gas at pump such and such, So they're like, they don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe we do,
when did you decide to pin it on the paint guy?
I'm at the Infiniti dealership. They come out, they bring this little tiny piece to me, and they're like, this is what's damaged on your in your gas tank. So I showed them the pictures of Craig fixing the car because I have 3 different pictures of where he's at. They're like, well, maybe he leaned on it accidentally, or the buffer that he has. I have a picture of him with the buffer jammed it. Because it's a little tiny piece.
Do you have a report where they say the things you say?
Yes.
Let me see that. And not just a report that says it's damaged, it costs X to replace, right? Something where they say, oh, we think he might have leaned into it.
No, they didn't put that on it,
but
looking at his size, they said he leaned on it and...
Because first of all, he's not that big.
I
so let's start with that. But looking at his size, he must have leaned into your gas cap. Did you lean into her gas cap?
No, I did not.
Okay. Were you working around her gas cap?
I was working to the left of her gas cap.
In that
Do you have any more pictures, or is this what you got? Okay.
It's just 3 pictures.
Okay.
Thank you.
Like...
Okay, here we go. That's much better. All right, so what is this item, a buffer?
Yes,
okay.
I believe. I can't see from...
So you are buffing the scratch. Yes, he's buffing the scratch. Why would he be a foot higher where your gas tank? Maybe your gas tank just broke. Do you have any evidence he broke it? Are you chicken necking me over?
No, I'm looking.
Hold on one second. I want to see a show of hands of who thinks he broke the gas cap. Are you her friend?
No.
She come with you? Who's that girl right there with the glasses?
It's my daughter.
She says no.
So could somebody, by leaning into a gas cap, break it, the cover?
I think you're depending on the quality of the car and the weight of the person in this case.
You think so? Could you break it?
I don't think so, unless it was a 100-year-old car and it was all plastic and old and cracked. I don't know.
Do you know how old we all are? Well, at least me. I'm just thinking. There is such a thing as a 100-year-old car, technically.
120.
No. Really?
Our bodies can hold 120.
No. I'm talking real cars going inside the courtroom.
Other than your daughter, does anybody? What evidence do you have? You don't have any evidence.
The fact that I got gas on Monday and he's near the buffer. All I asked him to do was to scratch in the front. That's very small. He pointed out the other.
Let me give you another theory. How old's your car?
08.
Okay, then in the 7 years that you've had your car, maybe it just broke and there's no one to blame.
Can I finish?
Did you do anything to her gas tank?
No, I did not.
When did you find out that she was accusing you of doing something?
What it is, I participate in Group 1. Now, my Group 1 is for a total car. So she pointed out the scratch that she wanted done, and I said, you have other scratches that I'll do included in the price.
Right.
So I repaired the scratches. She also had some damage on her bumper, and I didn't have the matching Infiniti paint. I told her I would order the paint and come back at no charge and touch up her bumper for her. I got the paint in about 3 weeks later, and I called her up, and we played phone tag for a while, and she said that I want to talk to you about something when you get here. So when I got there, that's when she said, you broke my gas cover, and I said, I don't think so.
What more evidence do you have against him than you have against the employee at Wawa who you weren't able to get pictures of or whatever? That was your first inkling.
Right. Only reason I assumed he damaged it is because of when I saw the buffer and I saw where he was buffing.
But honey, you always knew that he was buffing right where the scratch was, and the scratch was
in the front on the bumper. That's all I asked him to do. He acknowledged it when he came. He didn't act like he didn't do it. When I had to
How
trick
do you
him
expect
back.
a person to act like he didn't do it? What didn't he do?
When I came to present it to him, he was ready to service my hood.
Right.
When I showed him the bill, all of a sudden it wasn't his business. He had to call. He said a female. I didn't know who it was. So he said, I have to call the business. When he initially came, he said it was his business.
Okay, so what does he do? He makes a phone call and then you never finish the hood, right?
That's correct.
Because she was accusing you of breaking something else.
That's correct.
Did she not want you to finish the hood?
She mentioned the lawsuit right away, and I figured it was best not to do any further work on her car.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Based on what I have heard, or more importantly, what I have not heard, I do not find sufficient evidence to suggest that he broke your gas cap. I just don't. There is no evidence that it's anything other than your normal maintenance of a car that's 8 years old, that stuff happens. My verdict's for the defendant.
Thank you.
All right, and so you come out of there without any proof of your, belief, I guess, that he did it, so you can't win without the proof.
I thought I had the proof, but...
Well, maybe he didn't break it.
He did break it.
Things break, you know.
Not inside. Inside of a gas tank, like... To fix it, they had to go through the trunk, but I broke it from... No, I don't think so.
All right, well,
All right.
It's not the end of the world. A few dollars, that's all.
A few hundred.
All right, so step on in here, and your feeling on this outcome here?
I feel that it was a fair verdict. I appreciate it. For $323 for a little part, probably infinity is when it should be on trial.
Harvey?
Okay, I mean, here's the thing. All this woman's got is a theory, and the fact is it's an 8-year-old car, so tough luck. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Want to be more active this summer? Sierra helps you save on everything from swimsuits to stand-up paddleboards, tennis rackets to fishing tackle. And if that doesn't float your boat, we also have pool floats. Sierra, let's get moving to your local store, like now. Go!
This is the plaintiff, Ken Simon. He says he was hired to play music at the defendant's restaurant every Sunday. And at first, things were going great. Then, out of the blue, the defendant tells him not to come in anymore. The defendant has treated him very unfairly, and he feels he deserves to be paid for the 4 remaining Sundays of the month. She can't just dump him with no notice on a whim. And that's why he's suing for the $625 he feels he's owed. This is the defendant, Maggie Riley. She says the plaintiff's music during Sunday brunch was too loud. The guy got insulted when she told him to tone it down, and she told him, take the summer off, and maybe they'd pick things back up in the fall. Next thing she knows, he's suing her for future gigs? Ha! She's accused of making the music die.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff was hired to play at the defendant's restaurant and says he was fired without notice and wants money. But the defendant says the plaintiff played too loud. It's the case of, I don't like your tone.
Thank you, Douglas. Ken Simon,
Yes.
you are suing Barra Incorporated, doing business as Maggie Riley's, represented by Ms. Riley. You're the owner?
Yes, I am.
Okay. For $625, the amount that you feel she should pay you for future gigs that she didn't let you play at. Tell me what's going on.
My name is Ken Simon. I play saxophones and flute. I'm a musician. I've played in U.S. and Europe and Asia. I moved into the neighborhood several months ago.
Which neighborhood is this?
It's Chelsea.
Okay.
And I
New York?
noticed that Riley's had music, DJ, and karaoke. I went in there in March, presented myself, and she hired me to come in the same Sunday.
Okay.
And everything.
So you would play on Sunday at Sunday brunch?
Yeah, I have one flyer that she printed up and my Facebook advertisement.
Okay.
Things were going along. We depended on this work. It established a situation where we had to show up every Sunday, dressed properly and playing properly.
Okay.
And after a while, she was complaining, not so much about the music, but she would say things about the music, that the drawer wasn't equitable. She did very little other than printing these flyers, which I had to spend $25, and went out on the street, on the corner, handing them out, posting them up, calling friends. And the last date, I believe, was May 8th. Business seemed to be picking up, and then she said, no, my horn was too loud. And she didn't want to continue the music, and I had reserved all the Sundays in May. In fact, I got a call to go into a restaurant, and I had refused it because I felt there was an obligation.
Did you have a contract with her?
Only verbal.
Okay, so the verbal contract was that you would play on Sundays, and she would pay you $150?
Yes, total.
Was there ever any comment on how long you would be doing that? Or it was just like...
No, it wasn't, but it was understood that we were there on Sundays, which
okay,
is what...
So how is your lawsuit is based on what then? You feel that she can't just fire you?
In the music profession, we do things on the run, so to speak, and it was understood. In fact, her flyer says every Sunday.
No, I understand that. So my question, let me see the flyer. My question to you is, do you feel like she has to hire you for the rest of your life? Like,
no, for the rest of the month.
Okay, but there had never been a discussion that if you start 1 month, we owe you the whole month or anything like that. So you're picking the end of May as, you feel like she can't just fire you without
I feel there
notice?
should have been at least one Sunday's worth of notice.
Okay, and is there some law that you're referring to when you say that she can't just say, thank you for your services, I no longer want them?
Well, first of all, she wasn't in that type of mode. There was no thank you. I think in the music profession, it's different than other professions. You do not have time to get a written agreement. You're working on the fly.
I have no problem with that. Well, I prefer written agreements, but if people don't want to get it, that's fine. It's just that you're asking me to read into a verbal agreement something that wasn't there, I don't think. Did you have a specific time frame that you were hiring him for?
Absolutely not. He walked in, he was after moving into the neighborhood. He said he was looking for gigs, and he explained what he did. I said, you know what, let me try it. I've never done anything like this before, but it might be an addition. There's a lot of older neighborhood people that live there, they may like it. So we said we would start the following week, which I think was March 8th. And his music is good. I had no problem with his music. But there was no agreement of when we would stop, when we would start, and each Monday, the following day, he would always come in and say, what do you think? Will we be here next Sunday?
Okay. Now, I know that you submitted into evidence an email from someone who he played with. He would play what? What would you play?
I'm the sax, and I had accompanist that played keyboard.
Keyboard.
That's it.
All right. So one of the keyboard players that played with him said, I didn't expect that we had a term that was month to month. It was just like, when she needs. Yeah. So when you told him, listen, I don't think I'm going to do this anymore, why did you say that?
So does the plaintiff get the 4 additional weeks or nothing?
I don't think he gets anything because he doesn't have a contract with the people, and they can fire him whenever he wants.
Fair enough. I'm going to go over here. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
You agree?
Yes. No contract. In the entertainment industry, anyway, it's very, whatever happens, right?
Going inside the courtroom.
There's a few reasons. It was loud, which a lot of the regular customers complained. In fact, one of them took me aside during the week after one of the gigs and says, listen, I really don't want to tell you how to run your business, but it's way too loud. Myself and my friends that come for lunch, we like to just come in, sit down, relax. We've no problem listening to it, but it's way too loud for us. So we will come back after 4 o'clock when he's finished. That was one of the reasons. Half the bar would be empty because people would tend to move towards the end of the bar because it was too loud for them.
Okay, so I'm sure the bartender wasn't happy about that.
No.
Because
and also, I had brought to his attention, listen, why don't you try and lower the sound level? Because he had a saxophone, just used a flute. He used to play a flute. So he said, okay, let's try it. The next week I come in, he was playing some other type of a horn that blew the ears of me once I walked in the door.
Okay, was that the last time he ended up playing there?
That was the last time. I said to him, listen, you know what, I didn't say we're done. I said the summer gets quiet in the city, so, why don't we take a break and maybe we'll pick it up in the fall.
And what did he say to you?
He was a little irate.
What did he say?
He just said I was making excuses for him not wanting him to play there, even though he, he does sound good, but it was too small.
Let's say she just feels like she doesn't like you, she doesn't want you to play there, it's her bar. Why does she have to employ you an additional 3 weeks? Where is that in your contract? You don't have a contract. You are an at-will talent that's there. So how is it that I am supposed to give you a protection that you did not take the time to give yourself?
Well, as I say, in the music profession, things often are done on the run.
That's fine.
I mean, it was...
But that doesn't mean that you don't have the drawbacks of doing business that way. And by the way, I have multiple, every week, lawsuits in situations like this with people in the music business and bar owners. You are not my first rodeo, and I have seen plenty of written agreements, okay? But if you don't want to, I am perfectly fine with that. It's just that then you also want to pretend that you had an agreement where she has to give you a month's notice or 2 weeks notice or 3 weeks notice. You don't get that unless you bargained and negotiated that. You didn't. So why can't she just fire you when she wants to fire you?
Well,
she's free and American. Are you American?
Yes.
She's free and she owns a bar here. She looks at you. She wants you today. She doesn't want you tomorrow. Why are you special and everybody else, is just at will? Verdict for the defendant. That's my judgment.
And so very quickly and abruptly that case ends, and you're smiling. Why?
Well, I find it just a subterfuge of justice and just another whim of people's personalities and not looking into what it does to somebody's ability to earn a living and having...
Well, it's a legal question. It's a contract, and you're trying to ask somebody to add provisions to a contract where they didn't exist.
I think there is such a thing as people being responsible, and there is such a thing as a verbal contract. And it
what was in it? Maybe you should get things in writing if you can.
Well, as I said, in the...
I know the music business is different than most businesses. So write it down. You write down the music, write down the contract.
Well, we don't know. So you got a good point there, sir.
Okay.
We don't.
Thanks. Okay, head right down this one. Okay. So he's a good musician, right? Yeah, come on.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, he is a good musician.
But he's not happy.
He's not happy. Sometimes things don't work out. It wasn't working out.
Do you think he knew that he was auditioning?
Absolutely. He knew he was on a trial. It didn't work out. In fact, it was affecting business. So, something had to give.
Are you going to have him back?
I don't think so.
Harvey?
Here's the thing. The defendant had a right to fire the plaintiff at a moment's notice with no money. Too bad. So sad.